Big Cat, I'll tell you what, this is one of those days where I was happy to stay up late and watch the game because the game was awesome. And when the alarm went off, I jumped out of bed because I said, I can't wait to talk about this game for 3 hours this morning.
You can't wait to see my face. I agree with you, though. Thursday Night Football was fantastic. Doesn't it feel like the Seahawks, this game, it feels like the Seahawks have retooled everything and are back. You know, obviously they changed their entire defense. They went to the playoffs last year. But that, I know we talk about the sound a lot in Seattle and how loud it is, but it really did feel like that last night and winning that big game against the Rams. And now we have a lot of questions about the Rams, and I have a lot of questions for you, Mike Florio.
Well, and the thing about the Seahawks, when you retool that team, when you dismantle the Legion of Boom, when you build the team around quarterback Russell Wilson and you give him $35 million per year, you start to shift toward more offense, and that's what we saw last night. And Russell Wilson moved the ball all night long. He had a passer rating of the evening, 151.8. He's got 12 touchdown passes and no interceptions through 5 games. And anytime it feels like he's going to get swallowed up by the rush, he springs out and makes something happen. He had some beautiful throws. I don't know what was more impressive, the throw to Tyler Lockett or the catch by Tyler Lockett. I still don't know how Tyler Lockett caught that pass, and I don't know how Russell Wilson threaded the needle. I thought he was just throwing the ball away.
Yeah, and Tyler Lockett is the new Doug Baldwin, and by that I mean the guy who Russell Wilson seems to find in those exceptional places and exceptional ways. And when the chips are down and he's scrambling around and running for his life, he always used to find Doug Baldwin streaking down the field. Tyler Lockett feels like he's completely slipped into that position there, and with Doug Baldwin stepping away from the game. But you're right, Russell Wilson is fantastic. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. That's not saying anything crazy. I heard earlier this week you might have said he's people don't give him enough credit. I think people give him plenty of credit.
No, they don't. Listen. Tell Matt Casey that you're capable of coming up with your own ideas. He doesn't need to feed his hot takes through you to give me a hard time. I know what he's up to, and I don't appreciate it.
I watch this show, Mike. I watch this show.
No, you don't.
It's a great
show. No, you don't. Here's the thing. Russell, when we start listing the upper echelon in the NFL, people do not put Russell Wilson in it. He's always that guy on the other side of the best of the best. He needs to be in the best of the best.
He is in my best of the best, and this is one of those situations, Mike, you are the company that you keep. It sounds like you're hanging around a bunch of morons because Russell Wilson is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, and the conversation should always be a Brady, Rodgers, Mahomes, Russell Wilson. That should be whatever you want to go 1 through 4, but he's in there. And I don't know who you're hanging around, but every time you see Russell Wilson play, you realize how special he is, the plays he makes. The other thing I wanted to talk about real quick about this game, Mike, and we can get back to Russell Wilson if you want, but it's so funny how, that 1-point win for the Seahawks covers up some pretty bad coaching decisions by Pete Carroll and the Seahawks staff. The end of the half, when they get super conservative and they don't go for it on 4th and 1 and they miss a field goal and they play prevent defense and let the Rams go touchdown, end a touchdown first half, start a second half, get a touchdown. And then when they need the first down, 3rd and 2 to ice the game away, and they try to do something completely different, Russell Wilson almost throws the game away when Chris Carson is getting 4.5 yards a carry. The Seahawks, in a victory, we never usually pick apart what the victorious team does, but I thought their play calling was a little suspect at times, and I'd be nervous about them doing the conservative thing when they should be a lot more aggressive with a great running back in Chris Carson.
Yeah, if you're watching on NBCSN, you can see the play now on 3rd and 2 when the Seahawks were trying to ice the game. And the Rams were set for a run up the middle. I thought it was going to be something to the outside, but not this debacle. And but for Tyler Lockett, that really is a disaster for the Seahawks. And the Rams maybe scoop it up and score a touchdown right there. And see, that's, my worry for the Seahawks on that touchdown drive that put them up 30-29 is they were inevitably going to leave too much time for the Rams. There was not enough real estate for them to chew up, to churn out the last 9 minutes. They were going to leave the Rams some time on the clock, and as it turns out, they left the Rams enough time to to try twice after that great interception by Tedrick Thompson that was ruled incorrectly on the field, and I was rooting for a pick six so the Seahawks would cover. The Seahawks, all they needed was that one first down, and they almost blew it with that ridiculous play on 3rd and short. And you're right, we forget about that because it all worked out. But that would be the thing we're talking about, Big Cat, if Greg Zuerlein doesn't miss the 44-yard field goal. The ridiculous handling of that 3rd down play by Pete Carroll and the Seahawks.
Right, and I wanted to point that out because if you remember last year when the Seahawks go to Dallas for their playoff game and the play calling by Brian Schottenheimer and the Seahawks staff and how maddening it was to watch what we both agree on here is a top 5 quarterback in Russell Wilson not be able to make the plays because they were consistently trying to run the football. Last night they're able to run the football. The Rams defense, we can talk about them. They are suspect, and I have concerns about them going forward. But the Seahawks play calling and the consistency, do you have the confidence in what they're going to do week in and week out or when the big moment happens? Because it feels like when you have 4th and 1 and you're trying to be a running team and you decide to kick the field goal instead of get that 1 yard, that's a little bit in your own head. When you have 3rd and 2 and you're a running team and you're trying to get that first down and you do this weird pitch play with Russell Wilson, that feels like you're getting in your own head. It's almost the reverse of the criticism last year where everyone was criticizing Brian Schottenheimer for running the ball too much and not giving Russell Wilson the chance to make plays. And now when he's in very clear running downs where he should be able to get those 1 and 2 yards, they're tightening up and they're doing something different.
Yeah, and if you have any doubt about your ability in those spots to gain a yard or two because the defense is going to be ready for that, let Russell Wilson dance around a little bit, maybe find a guy open like they did on the 4th down play when they scored the touchdown that Chris Carson almost dropped. I mean, let Russell Wilson start moving with his legs and run it if he needs to, or throw it if he sees someone wide open like he did on the touchdown. But, that was a key play. That was a key moment where they didn't get inside their heads. But I agree with you on some of these other ones. They're trying to be a little too cute. They're trying to outsmart themselves, and they're getting away from the thing that works. And I think any play that you take the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands from the standpoint of a potential run or pass decision, that's when you're just asking for a disaster. If it's something like that where this weird pitch play, and it just the whole thing was bizarre, and it really would have killed the night for the Seahawks. It almost did, and we'd have been destroying Schottenheimer and Pete Carroll and even Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson seemed like he freaked out a little bit in that moment too, and it would have taken away dramatically from what otherwise was a special night for him.
Mike, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, are you thinking what I'm thinking right now? Are we on the same page? Are we on the same wavelength?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay, here we go. The Clay Matthews roughing the passer. Terrible, terrible call. We need instant replay for roughing the passer. Mike Florio, the king of instant replay. We need instant replay. Let's add more replay to the game. It was a bad call. I don't think it decided the game because it happened on a 1st and 10. So it's not like, the Seahawks were backed up and it was a bailout call on 3rd down. But it was a bad call. And this is maybe a reputation call because we saw it last year when Clay Matthews fell on Kirk Cousins. And maybe it was even, Mike, a makeup call for Clay Matthews knocking the snot out of Russell Wilson in 2015 in the NFC Championship game. Whatever you want to say it was not good, and we need to solve it. And I know you're going to overreact and tell us we need instant replay.
That is a delayed makeup call. If that's a makeup call, that 4 years later, that's a creative thought by you. But here's the problem, and this is where the coaching needs to come in. When you're going in to hit a quarterback, you got to hit the strike zone. And even if you hit him with your shoulder, if you hit him high enough, when you jam him with your shoulder, his head's going to jerk back as if he has been hit in the helmet. And if your helmet's in the vicinity of his helmet, it's going to look like you went helmet to helmet. So I don't know why they don't coach these guys to not lower the helmet, lower the shoulder, and hit him in the midsection. And then there's no doubt, because the strike zone on a quarterback is knees to neck. And if you let your helmet stay high, even if you go shoulder to shoulder, it may look like helmet to helmet. A couple of weeks ago, there was one, Kamala Correa of the Titans hit Gardner Minshew in the jaw with his helmet. And the Fox guys were complaining about that, but the replay made it clear there was helmet-to-helmet contact. Last night they were right. There was not. And I've been saying for years, these safety-related rules, the hit on the defenseless player, the roughing the passer, when you're talking about 15 yards of field position and a fresh set of downs, maybe you should have some sort of a replay component because you're even though it was only first down, from 2nd and 10 on the 40 to 1st and 10 on the 25 is a big deal in that moment. And if they're not going to get it right in real time, if there's a quick and easy way, and this is where the big red button would come into play, right? We don't need replay. We just need the big red button. We need the sky judge. We need somebody. You advocated the big red button with the mallet, whack-a-mole.
Sure, I
it would have been easily fixed.
Because
here's the thing. Let me tell you this. The Tedrick Thompson interception last night, clear, obvious, no doubt, should have taken 25 seconds to overturn. It took like 4 minutes. Like, they need a device where they can make these changes quickly based upon what we all see at home. I say this all the time, Big Cat. The NFL's biggest problem right now is the disconnect between what we all see in HD, 25K, whatever the hell it is, and what the officials who are out there trying not to get trampled see at full speed. Yeah. And they need a way to bridge that gap, and replay review is not good enough.
You're right on that. The refs are definitely put in a bad spot because we are, experts in these and getting to see a million replays before they almost can even make the call. Listen, Rams fans aren't going to like this. They'll probably be watching it on the replay, so know that you're watching it on the replay, and I'm long gone from the studio, so don't complain to me. But Clay Matthews, when you play with fire, you're going to get burned. And by that I mean, doesn't he seem like he's always in and around the quarterback, like very close to when they're releasing the ball? He gives that little extra something, a little extra mustard on the hot dog, if you will. And when you do that, eventually you will get burned. I think there was a play earlier in the game where he either got called for the roughing the passer or it was very close, where it was a little extra just as the ball was being released or right after the ball was being released. And of course, there's something to that to try to make the quarterback feel uncomfortable, to try to make the quarterback know, hey, we're here and we're going to keep coming all night. But that feels like Clay Matthews. I don't want to say a reputation because I don't think he's a dirty player by any means. But when you play that physical style of football right on the edge with today's NFL, that will burn you in key spots. And that's what happened again with Clay Matthews last night.
If there was no other proof that you are now a father, that is ultimate dad advice. Know where the line is and stay the hell away from it. Mm-hmm. And that's all you need to ever tell your son. In any situation, figure out where the line is, and if you dance on it, there's a chance somebody's going to assume that you crossed it, and that's what happened to Clay Matthews last night.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.